To the surprise of absolutely no one, the new Etsy ads campaign is already broken. But also, I want to say to sellers, there's some bad information out there already, so I want to cover that before you panic into spending more money than you should. If you missed this, yesterday Etsy made a change to their ads. They offer you some control over your campaign. But you have to pay $25 a day. Well, you have to increase your ad budget to $25 a day to play. And as expected, the crowd went wild in a bad way. People were not happy with this, myself included. I think that's a disgusting amount of money, really, for most sellers. Um, Thank you to everyone who commented. I completely agree with all the points. Etsy is just trying to make more revenue out of us, as far as I can see. However, it is going to come to the point. I am seeing some people mention that if they keep pushing them with ads like this, what's going to happen is they're going to stop using the ads. And while they stop using the ads, they'll also stop paying for Etsy Plus. So, Etsy, there is a tipping point of how hard you can milk us before we all move along. Sorry, I couldn't help the puns there. But anyway, let's have a look at what's broke. Firstly, right, if you all saw my video yesterday, you all saw me set up all of this. So you also saw me take my budget, was it $1 or $2, up to $25 a day. Up to a top, a seal that Etsy hasn't charged me $25, thankfully. But of course, boosting your daily budget by $7.50 could help you grow. Etsy they tell us that you should leave something running for 30 days, but their own little budget check-ins are just automated. They're not based on anything. If you have a budget at like $1 a day, it'll tell you boost it by this much. It's just a percentage. They're just telling you to boost it. And I think that's really cheeky because a lot of sellers do follow Etsy's recommendations as if they're gospel. So if you put your budget up one day and the next day you come here and it's saying increase it, increase it, increase it, yeah, Etsy, that annoys me already because they haven't spent my $25. So how would increasing my budget make any difference? If you can't show me, you can't show me. But anyway, let's go down and show what was going. Firstly, you can see where I changed my budget. Etsy managed to show my ads a little bit more for sure. They definitely started pushing them a bit. How are they doing today? I haven't checked. So yeah, not getting the clicks, but they have been trying to ramp up where they're showing them. So that's good, but I said it was broken. So now some people are saying they don't see this, so it's a test. It does make sense, things are rolled out slowly, but most people have said they're seeing this, so it might just be they're in an app or they haven't looked in the right place. Because it wasn't people from my videos, it was just people on forums and stuff. Hopefully, if you've seen my videos, you'll see the place to click is here at campaign. And if you watched my video, you'll have seen me do this last week, where I turned it on to the increase your return area. I'm sure I did. It's in the video. That's where I wanted to do it. And I looked on it today and it's come back to balance your orders. So I'm interested in that anyway. So what we'll do, we'll change it back. Let's see if it sticks. So change the strategy. You've all seen it. I've updated it. So my strategy is on increase your return. So while we are in here, I will talk about what people are saying that's had me a little bit concerned. Basically, what they're saying, some people are suggesting if you don't click on the increase your orders, then your listings won't be shown. And that's not what Etsy is saying. Okay, so I can do these without clicking on them. I'm still in this strategy. That's fine. Okay. So I'll go over this again and I'll explain what I think, because people are freaking people out into saying if you don't increase your ad budget to the $25, you don't get the option for this increase your orders bit, which means your ads won't be being shown. So you have to do this. It's implied that you have to do this. This is, look, I'm no shill for Etsy, but I also don't want to give them hate when they don't deserve it. This is not what they're saying. They're saying if you don't increase your ads to the $25, you don't get the option to pick these, and you'll get in the balance your order with returns. Now, firstly, I will speculate, because if you didn't notice this, or if you haven't done this, your ads are, or if you're below the budget, your ads say you're in the balance your orders with return. Let's go into this section. So my impression, this is my speculation, Etsy have not announced anything yet. Let me know if anyone sees when they do. I am checking constantly. My speculation is this is how the ads have been running. This is the baseline. This is what we already had. Balance your orders with return. The goals that you could pick didn't change anything. People just speculated on that. I think there was 5 different strategies. They didn't necessarily all make sense. You were just, there's things like to get ahead to compete with one of your competitors or something. There was no way that Etsy was going to go into every individual shop that had ticked that, figure out who their competition was, which isn't always clear when you're a shop that has a lot of different things, and then decide to outbid just the competition. That's way too complicated just now for Etsy. There's no way they were doing that. Those goals were just for Etsy to understand what strategies people were wanting, and I believe they have used those loosely to work on these 3 goals here. I say loosely because I think this is what they'd always planned. The problem is when people do these kind of surveys and stuff, they already know what they're wanting to do. In reality, I don't think anybody wanted their cost per click to go through the roof so that they're not covering their ad fees in what they're getting with sales. But Etsy heard what it wanted to hear. We'll see what the results are like, and thank you to everybody who's told me that they'll let me know what they're seeing as well. Best way for us to get an idea of what's happening quickly is for everyone who's able and willing to let me know what's happening. But don't turn this on, or do not increase your ads if you can't afford this. It's a lot of money. You won't necessarily be charged the full $25, but it's a risk. So take this like gambling. But anyway, so the balance your orders with returns we'll balance your orders, revenue, and ad spend for a steady return on investment. Etsy ads will optimize bidding to balance your orders, revenue, and return by targeting relevant buyers while managing costs. So what Etsy ads always did was they had to look at the return on investment that your ads were getting. So they would be showing good converting listings, Etsy would be showing good converting listings that made a good amount of money. They would get to show them higher than listings that perhaps got lots and lots of clicks. They didn't have such a good return because they would getting charged lots more clicks before they made a sale. So Etsy would drop that cost per click, so they would be getting seen less, but it wouldn't cost so much for a sale. So basically, it's balancing, it's looking at the return on investment, so you're not being shown in the most high priority, the most high cost per click areas. You won't be getting shown there. I made a video ages ago about how cost per click works, but basically it's a bidding system like eBay, apart from the fact that Etsy's doing all the bidding on your behalf. So if you have 5 listings that could be shown in this one slot for the advert, then they all sort of put their bid in. So they all bid a cent to say, I'll pay one cent per click for this. and then you keep having to bid up and up and up until the other people drop out. So if there's a lot of listings looking for that one ad space, then the cost per click will get really, really high as there's lots of people bidding, so they each add in more and more and more. But if there's only two people bidding and the other person bidding has a very, very low budget, then you'll only have to bid up. Your cost per click will be much lower. You will win that ad slot at a much lower level. So very, very competitive keywords are likely to have lots and lots of listings who could be relevant for that ad slot. So the cost per click will increase and increase and increase. So how could, because Etsy's doing all the bidding on everybody's behalf, which is a little shady, but basically, so what that's saying is all the people, Etsy gives them a cost per click maximum based on how they feel that person, that listing, how it's going to perform in that ad. So if you're likely to convert pretty low, you'll get a lower cost per click. So you're less likely to be seen for these high competition keywords. So it's a balance. So if we have the increase your orders, will increase your potential for orders and revenue, but at a higher cost per order. Etsy will aim to make your ads more competitive while targeting the most relevant ad spots. This may increase your visibility in orders, but each order may come at a higher cost. So increase your visibility is showing you in more places and potentially for these highly competitive search terms. So to do that, then Etsy, to increase your orders, Etsy has to give your listing a higher cost per click. That is all that's happening. It's not showing you more, it's giving you more chances to win that that auction for the adverts. So if you don't have this, you're still going to be being seen. But what could be happening is you'll be shown in these high cost, high search volume keywords. So if you sell the bronze and opal steampunk engagement rings, you might find that you're getting more and more clicks from ring and engagement ring, and these are highly searched. So you could find your visibility, the amount of times your ads are being shown and getting clicked on, skyrockets, and you are going to make more sales, but the cost per click will be high for these. So this is how the balance works. Now, I might be going a little bit too high here. If your listings are, there will be a cap. Etsy will have a limit. They're not, their publicity would be hideous if they started showing, if you click this and suddenly your shop was being shown for some ads that was like $10, $20, $100 a click. That's unlikely to happen, or at least it's unlikely to happen very quickly. So if you have a listing that's very unlikely to sell, it's still, it's very low conversion. You're still going to have some kind of a limit on your cost per click. So you're still probably not going to get seen for the keyword rings, but maybe bronze engagement ring or something. Whereas, well, let's use this example to run with. So if we imagine you're on increase your orders, you were starting to get seen for ring and engagement ring. If you want for this balance your orders with return, you were being seen for bronze engagement ring. And if you went with the increase your return, you're being seen for bronze and opal steampunk engagement ring. So basically, increase your return. We aim to reduce costs and increase return on investment, but ads attributed order and revenue may decrease. Etsy ads will target relevant buyers more conservatively. This may result in reduced visibility for your ads and fewer orders, but should increase your return on investment. So they're looking for the places that you're likely to sell with less clicks and or that have a much lower cost per click. So the places that aren't as competitive or that are really, really targeted for your type of item. So this could really improve your return on investment. Now, what everybody sees is going to be different. Some people were doing really great with the system how it was. Many people were doing terrible. So if your return on investment was too high to manage and you're doing the $25, I would look at going down a category. Yes, you might get less orders from ads, but they'll cost you less. So if you were finding your orders from ads were costing you more than you were making, it's not worth, and it wasn't leading to more reviews and building up momentum in your shop. So I hope that explains it a little bit better. Now, what I want to do, right, I haven't changed that. I want to, shall we see if Etsy has remembered this for me? Let's refresh the page, whatever else. Okay, so all looks the same. Again, campaign, have you remembered to increase your return? Yes, so it's still there. So what other people are saying is once you switch this on, Etsy's not taking it off you. So I'm going to check, do a little test on this. If I go back down to $1 a day, now, yeah. Okay, so if you set your budget below $25, you'll lose access to your ads strategy preferences. So you can't change things there. So anyway, I'm not going to change this. I'm on increase your return. I'll keep an eye on this. But I just wanted to dive in today and show, has anyone else had this as a glitch? Doesn't surprise me, there's little glitches. And on top of that, just to explain, you do not have to switch on this increase your orders or not get seen. It's a balancing act. I don't hate this little graphic that Etsy's given us here. It's that, you've advertising is a balance. They are quite correct here. So you have to look at the number. If you want a lot more orders, you're going to have to pay more for it. And I don't just mean it not scalably. You're going to have to pay more cost per click. So your return on investment will go down. If you want a more targeted return on investment, your number of orders will go down. That's how it works. But your number of orders from ads, I will point that out as well. That's not saying if you don't pay to play, your orders total are going to go down. A lot of people actually say they find that their organic views and orders increase when they don't have ads running. That's something to test in the future. There are some theories behind that. Etsy shouldn't be manipulating the organic search results based on your adverts. That's illegal. But there are some reasons why, if you're running ads, perhaps people are seeing, they're seeing your listing in organic search in the same place as the ads, so they're clicking on the ads, or whatever else. There's many different reasons. Advertising is complicated and Etsy doesn't give us much control. They've given us something here that is control. It's a bit more control. That's good. They've asked far too much money for it. I get you want enough to be able to give statistically significant amounts of data, to be able to understand the goals much quicker. That'll make sense. But this basically prices most handmade sellers out of optimizing their advert, and this puts the ball in court of mass-produced people who can potentially afford to run massive amounts of ads and have a tiny margin because there is no extra work for them for every extra sale. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let me know how you are finding these ads. I think most of you, and I completely agree with it, have decided not to change them, not to run with them. I would not be doing it if I wasn't wanting to test on all of our behalf. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.